We went to go see The Little Mermaid in IMAX, that's right, in IMAX, but is it any good? We'll talk. Hi, how are you doing today? It's just Jess here. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, we went to go see The Little Mermaid in IMAX, but is it worth it in that format? Honestly, absolutely yes. Why? Some scenes were shot in IMAX, so what does that mean for you as a viewer? You see up to 26% more screen only in IMAX. You also get the extended aspect ratio from 1.90 2.1 from 2.35 2.1. Amazing musical scores and the singing. We get a nice boost for the audio, for the sounds and the music, although let's be honest, Dolby is probably better for the audio, but I knew that going into it because I wanted to see the extended aspect ratio. I did feel immersive with both audio and visuals. The Little Mermaid is an action-adventure magical fantasy live adaptation from Disney with musical with the same name, just animation. So think of it, it's a story about comedy, love, singing, dialogue, dramatic scenes to break out the musical when they're singing their heart outs. Now, I don't mean dramatic, like, cause let's be honest, it's a Disney movie, but when I say it's a musical, they do sing a lot of points throughout the movie, but they still have dramatic dialogue scenes with characters that are not singing to carry the movie forward. So think of it like In the Heights, that movie that came out 2 years ago, as well as West Side Story, but they do a lot of singing here in this Disney live adaptation. Ariel, who is a beautiful mermaid, is bounded to the sea when her father, Triton, the king of the seven seas, does not want her to interact with any humans because of their previous past bad history that the humans killed her mother. Until she saves a human boy that's supposedly a prince to the land that he was going to inhabit, she starts to develop feelings for him, and he is like the first human she's ever come to cross in real life. She's so obsessed with humans, she wants to know more information about it and goes against her father's wishes that he tells her not to go anywhere next to the humans. After making a deal with the octopus evil witch, she only has 3 days until the third rise of the sunset, get a kiss from this handsome prince. Otherwise, she will be bounded to take her voice by the witch and not be human and also be owner of the witch. Very scary. Now, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I do love anime and I do love like live adaptations, but I never grew up watching the live adaptation. Yes, I get it. I can go to Disney Plus and watch it, but I wanted to go into this movie with a fresh set of eyes. Like when I went to the theater, I'll be honest with you, there was a lot of kids, a lot of girls, a lot of adults, but there weren't people my age, they were. But I feel like this movie's catered to, I don't want to say children, but I did see a lot of them like running around the theater, but once the movie started, people were like, oh my gosh, gasping. So I have no knowledge of the source material growing up. However, I was so surprised of the music that I found in this movie because like Under the Sea, I think I've heard that somewhere growing up. Like I have sisters, or maybe I went to a friend's house, or maybe in a commercial. I was so surprised to how familiar this all was, because growing up I didn't really watch this movie, like the animation. However, I felt familiar when I was watching the movie. I was like, I have heard, you know when you have that feeling of I've heard that song, that scene, that concept in somewhere in my previous, like when I was younger. I felt that way throughout the whole runtime. And I just have to say this first, I started doing research for this movie after I saw it or before I saw it, and there was a lot of backlash with Hallie Bailey, I'm probably not saying that name right, Hallie Bailey, the main protagonist, which is a beautiful, gorgeous babe, by the way. I would absolutely marry her. They were getting controversy because she's a different skin color, and to me, like I told you before, I did not grow up watching the original source material. And then I went to go back and watch pictures, and yeah, it's a different skin color, but it's not, to me, I don't really care because Hallie Bailey does such a beautiful job, not in the terms of acting, but also the singing, the beautiful notes as well. When I heard trailers about this movie, or when I heard like scriptures or other like musical notes, I was such in awe of her music, especially in IMAX. She does never crack her musical notes. Now, let's be frank, I used to be in show choir 6th, 7th, sophomore year, and my senior year of high school and middle school. I was mostly in it for dancing, but not for more of the singing. But I loved how it felt musical, more strong. Her acting is on point, but even her singing is amazing. I'm not one of those, like I never grew up with the animation, but at the end of the day, if the skin color of the character is not at the origins of like the storyline, then to me it doesn't really matter. One thing, side note, when people got mad when they casted Michael B. Jordan in the Fantastic Four because he was a black man playing a white dude character, to me that character, his origins does not matter who he is. Now there's some people in terms of like their ethnicity that stands that you need to have, like imagine El Chavo. El Chavo needs to be Mexican, that's his origin. But if the Little Mermaids could be anyone. And especially when this movie was showing to us, there was a lot of Little Mermaids that were different colors, whites, blacks, Asians, like they're all beautiful. Like it does, to me it doesn't matter, I don't really care. And if anything, I loved Hallie Bailey's interpretation of the character. I fell in love because not only she sings great, the way she acted her role was amazing. Unfortunately, let's be honest, we live in a world where it's the post Avatar 2 Way of Water, and I don't want to like compare it because I saw that movie in IMAX 3D. That's right, IMAX 3D. And this movie, I just saw it in regular IMAX, but the underwater stuff just felt a little, let's be honest, jarring or wonky. I'm just like, wow. Like it doesn't look bad, but, and I don't want to compare. At the end of the day, when you're coming off Avatar The Way of Water, which is, I don't want to say like owned by Disney, but still like Disney, obviously they're the top of it and they're releasing this. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what are you doing? Like you came off such a good note with Way of the Water and now you're getting this. Now, yes, of course, it feels like any underwater movie does feel. You hear the echoes of the music, the sway of the singing, there's shh, 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 like that. It doesn't look bad, but I'm just saying, like when you watch The Way of the Water in IMAX 3D and you watch this, even though this was in IMAX, it's a little like jarring. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, it doesn't take away from distracting on the movie. I know a lot of big mean critics are giving it lower scores because of that, but at the end of the day, the movie does not take place in the water. Like yeah, for the first maybe 40% there's water, but even when we go above the water, like it still looks fine. Like it's whatever, you know. Hallie Bailey, I just told you, she is perfect as the mermaid. Jonah Hauer-King is great as Eric. He's like the most relatable guy going through the same thing as the mermaid, but although in the land. Javier Bardem as the king, even though I don't think we ever saw him sing notes, I did like his accent on the character, as well as he's being so close to his children. He does not want to lose them for good, forever. He's like holding on to them so close, like overbearing parents, which of course I've known that to be true. Hopefully you do. Melissa McCarthy as the evil octopus tentacles witch does have some amazing musical notes that I was like, oh my gosh, she can sing like that. And the way her acting too is the evil motives of the witch that's trying to steal the Triton's like daughter, like the most possessed and prized, especially her voice. Thought that was pretty cool. And of course, Awkwafina rounding out the cast with her friends, giving us some more comedic relief to enjoy with the audience. This has everything you want in a Disney film. The first and foremost, there's love, there's humor, there's singing, there's dialogue, there's dramatic scenes, there is stuff to take away from the main characters in order for them not to be together, but then we'll see if they are together. Like this has everything from Disney that you want it to. It's magical, it's musical, it's beautiful. The prince and king is also bounded by the same rules as Little Mermaid as he encounters her, because they're overbearing parents as well. You need to get married, we need to find this girl, he wants this girl, I can't wait to like who she is, she has a beautiful voice, he saved her. So it's like has all the magical tropes that any other Disney film has, but which isn't bad, trust me, it's not bad. But with no knowledge of the source material, I was really intrigued to see how they would have the 3 days where she goes on top of the land, because I'm just like, okay, well, it's a relationship movie, it's romance, how does she even get up there? Which of course she makes the deal, she only has 3 days. But it's like another Disney film that brought into my mind, which is the princess, you know, when she loses the slipper and he's like, oh, I need to find her, but that's only one night. For this, it's 3 days. So I would wonder, okay, well, how would that factor into the relationship dynamic? Because that's the one thing that I'm really going into. However, she doesn't speak during the 3 days because of course the evil octopus witch stole her voice. So I'm just like thinking, wow, how are they gonna make the movie forward? And if she couldn't talk, but then at the end of the day, if she did talk, it would be like any other romance movie, just two characters talking, oh, they fall in love. Like, I mean, but the way she couldn't talk, she had to use her body signals, she had to use her mind, she had to use other things. The guy was talking a lot. I thought it was a cool, different take. Not that I don't think I've ever seen that before, but I was really wondering, how are they gonna fall in love? I mean, they have 3 days, but she can't speak. So to me, I'm like, oh, it does have that Disney tropes with something bounded. Oh, they need to kiss, they need to be together, there's evil. So I did like that because I kind of knew it was coming from, like, come on, it's Disney. But like I said, it's not bad. I mean, it's kind of encouraging to know that, oh my god, there's good out there. Like, oh my gosh, you know, mermaid and the man. I would definitely marry a mermaid, and she would be human as well, because, you know, I would want to get freaky with mermaid. I mean, I don't know if mermaid, I mean, of course I would like hug her and stuff, but I would want her to walk too, like if we go to festivals and stuff. It feels like Romeo and Juliet, two different people from two different worlds that are never meant to be together, but at the same time they are. And the movie gives us this multiple scenes of these two people, especially especially Ariel as a character when she goes on top of the land for the 3 days. She's so amazing. There's music, there's dancing, because to us, especially the fork scene was pretty funny for comedic purposes, because to us we use the fork to eat, but she used it for her hair. So it's cool because she's like, oh my gosh, like the land of the humans. She's so obsessed with humans. She wants to be a human. I would be with like a alien, you know, like as long as I can kiss them, be naughty, you know, do the bad things, and of course I would do that. But to me, like I said, with no knowledge of the source material, I did have a surprisingly fun time with this. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give this a B, and I saw this in IMAX, so your results may vary. I had a good time with this. Overall, good message, good singing, good musical, especially like a guy like me that went to show choir. A lot of mean critics are giving it bad reviews, and I can see why, but you don't need to hamper it because of the special effects underwater, because it's only literally like 40% of the movie. Other than that, I did like the singing, I did like everything else. I had an enjoyable, fun experience. Pleasant. The two words that I would say, enjoyable, pleasant. I walked away with this movie in the theater feeling good, and that's good, and that's what I wanted. If you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Maybe consider hitting that like button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that, take care, bye.